This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our
Good evening from the Namoli Family Stadium, where the Tampa Spartans are getting set to play host to the St. Leo University Lions. I'm Bruce Wozniak here to call the action for you between number 1 Tampa and number 11 St. Leo in the first of what will be a 3-game series. These two teams are scheduled to play a doubleheader here tomorrow afternoon, with the first game beginning at 1 o'clock. St. Leo, not too long a drive from here, maybe a 75-minute drive or so, and so weather will not be a factor in terms of them not being used to the Tampa temperatures. In fact, our game time temperature is 85 degrees. And talk about heat, a couple of teams coming in on winning streaks. The Spartans are currently riding a 14-game winning streak, and the Lions bring in a 5-game winning streak of their own. On the season, the visitors bring in an overall one-loss record of 39-7, and UT boasting a one-loss mark of 35-2. And the starting pitcher for UT this evening is Mariah Galehouse. And what a fantastic season she's having in the circle, a 1.40 ERA and a 13-2 one-loss record. She has struck out 68 batters and has only walked 5. For the Lions, leading things off, Alexandra Hare, and the first pitch to her is fouled back. And so Galehouse gets ahead in the count. And now the 0-1. And Hare, a base hit just on the second pitch of the game. And so St. Leo already with a runner aboard. And a great start for them in this Sunshine State Conference matchup. And that'll bring up Alyssa Perez. Galehouse's first pitch, Perez looked like she was going to show bunt. And so 0-1. And now the 0-1 to Alyssa Perez on the way and showing bunt again. And Galehouse looked down, Lexi Chevalier looked down to first base at the runner Alexandra Hare and opts to hold on to it. So now the 0-2 from Galehouse coming to Perez. And Perez gets the ball call from home plate umpire Tyrone Miller. Here's the 1-2, swung on and bounces foul back to the screen. So Perez staying alive here. Alyssa Perez batting .341 this season. And the 1-2 to her, swung on and missed, and she will go down as the first strikeout victim of the game for Mariah Galehouse. So that'll bring up the right fielder, Bianca Polestina. First pitch to her is a ball. Polestina, a freshman for the Lions, and batting .350, fouls that one off. She has played in 40 games this season and .350, an impressive .350 batting average. She's driven in 23 runs. And now the 1-1 coming to her from Galehouse And she looks at it for ball 2. In case you just joined us, the leadoff hitter getting on board for the Lions on just the second pitch of the game. Strike 2 there. And so Alexandra Hare is the base runner over at first with one out here in the top of the first. The 2-2 and gets the strikeout. And Mariah Galehouse with 2 strikeouts out already. And so we'll see the second base player, Brianna Neal, a freshman from up in Sanford, Florida, just north of Orlando. And Neal, strike 1 to her. Brianna Neal, wow, 367. She has appeared in all 46 of St. Leo's games this season. She has 3 home runs and 28 RBI. And strike 2. And this is why Mariah Galehouse is the ace of this Spartan staff. Finding her groove early here. The 0-2, and there's a liner to short, over to second, and they get the runner for out number 3. So for the Lions in the top of the first, no runs on 1 hit. There were no Spartans errors. And we will have the Spartans coming to back when we return right here on TampaSpartans.tv.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Back at the Namoli Family Stadium, and what a pitcher's duel that we potentially have here this evening, as the starter for the Lions is Kayla Betts, who has a 0.51 earned run average in 151 2/3 innings pitched this season. A 1-loss record of 21-2. And the leadoff hitter for the Spartans, as always, is the left fielder Lauren Fantone. Fantone hitting .323 this season, 2 home runs, 16 RBI. Fouls that one off. Count goes even at 1-1. And when I say 2 home runs, you know that those are on the road. We've covered on a great number of these broadcasts that this is not a home run friendly ballpark. And now, having said that, I did have the pleasure of calling a home run here a few weeks ago that Cameron Weininger hit. 1-1 now to Fantone, and it's up high for ball 2. And you see Betts looking over to her dugout, now ready, and delivers, and Fantone pops that one up, and it is playable. And that will be caught by Alexandra Hare for out number 1. And Fantone You see having a quick word there with Lily Keister, the Spartans center fielder, the number 2 hitter in Leslie Cantor's batting order tonight. And the first pitch to Lily, and that's going to be ball 1. Keister hitting .407, has played in all 37 of the Spartans games this season. No home runs, 18 RBI. And now Kayla Betts ready with the 1-0 offering. And that's fouled off. Lily Keister is a sophomore and is one of those players that feels like she's been here for a few years, has really established herself nicely here in the Spartans team. 1-1 on the way to her now. And gets underneath it and going to be just like the last one as she fouls out to Alexander Hare, the third base player. And so just like that, 2 down for UT here in the bottom of the first. And that'll bring up the third base player, Alexa Russo. Russo having herself a nice little season, hitting .317, 3 home runs, 21 RBI. She's played in all but 2 of the Spartans' 37 games. And facing Kayla Betts, follows it back to the screen. The first 3 batters, very similar starts to their at-bats for the home team tonight. And the lights slowly starting to come on here in the Namoli Family Stadium. And the temperature has dropped to 82 degrees. And now Betts ready with the 0-1. And Russo swings and misses. 0-2 to Russo, 2 outs. Bottom of the first, and a real good crowd here tonight. Obviously, a lot of supporters have made the drive over from St. Leo to root on the visiting team. And here's the 0-2 to Russo. Swings and misses, and 3 up and 3 down for UT in the bottom of the first. So through 1 complete, we are scoreless. Back with more softball coming up on TampaSpartans.tv.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Back at the Namoli Family Stadium, I'm Bruce Wozniak. We are scoreless as the Lions get ready to bat here in the top of the second. And the batter is Cheyenne Waller, the shortstop. And the 1-0, Waller swings and misses. Hitting .327 this season. And she has played in 40 of her team's 46 games. Lines it to Ballmer at short, over to DeSimone at first, and that's out number 1. That'll bring up the St. Leo left fielder Bailey Williams. And to second and over to first in time. And on one pitch, Bailey Williams becomes out number 2 for St. Leo. That'll bring up the number 7 hitter in the Lions lineup, catcher Madison Coe. Strike 1 to Coe, who is hitting .305 this season. And now the 0-1 from Gelhaus to first, and DeSimone unassisted for out number 3. And just like that, the Lions are done in the top of the second. And what did I tell you? This could very well shape up to be quite a pitching duel. And we will come back with the bottom of the second right here on TampaSpartans.tv. To the heart of the Spartans order, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in this bottom of the second, starting off with the second base player Cameron Weininger. Weininger, a senior, hitting .394, 5 home runs, 35 RBI. And fouls that one back to the screen. Only Lexi Chevalier has more home runs this season than Cameron Weininger on the Spartans. And for Weininger, her 35 RBI are tied for the team lead with tonight's starting pitcher, Mariah Gelhaus, who we know is just as effective with the bat as she is from the pitching circle. The 0-1 popped up and out of play. So Weininger behind in the count, 0-2. The number 1 ranked Tampa Spartans and the number 11 ranked St. Leo University Lions. 2 very, very impressive seasons. Swing and a miss, and Weininger goes down as the second strikeout victim of the game for Kayla Betts. The Spartans, as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, a 35-2 one-loss record entering tonight, a 14-game winning streak, and St. Leo 39-7 and riding a 5-game winning streak. And it's pitcher versus pitcher as Mariah Gelhaus in the batter's box now for UT. And that one outside for ball 1. Mariah Gelhaus has appeared in all 37 of UT's games this season and is hitting .346. As I mentioned, just as dangerous with the bat in her hands as she is from the pitching circle. And now the 1-0 on the way from Kayla Betts. And popped up, and that one will go out of play. Count even at 1-1. Galehouse, one of just a few seniors on this Tampa roster. Imagine that being ranked number 1 in the nation, and you're only going to lose unofficially, I believe it's, looking quickly at the roster, 4 players that are seniors. Two and 1 the count. 1 down here in the bottom of the second. UT still looking for their first hit. At the knees, and that's going to be ball 3. And some of the St. Leo supporters here not entirely thrilled with that call, but from my vantage point here in the press box, it looked ball enough to me, and that's with the bias removed. Kayla Betts, the 3-1, rocks back, winds, delivers, and there's ball 4. Spartans get a runner aboard as Mariah Galehouse draws the base on balls. And so with just 1 out here in the bottom of the second, we will see the designated player, Avery Perkins. Perkins hitting .373, and oh, by the way, is a sophomore. So get used to seeing her is the good news for Spartans fans. And fouls that one back. Perkins, the number 6 hitter, and I mentioned Lexi Chevalier before, the Spartans catcher who leads the team in home runs. She is in the on-deck circle. And let's see if Perkins can advance the runner, Galehouse. And it looked as though that was going to potentially be a slap. Count 1-1 to Avery Perkins. Comes up from down in Fort Myers. And batting here in the bottom of the second inning. Ready for the next pitch from Kayla Betts as she checks her dugout. And I'll explain that in just a minute. Rocks back, winds, delivers, and Perkins happy to take for ball 2. So a lot of the visiting pitchers that we see come in here, they look to the dugout, they get a signal, they check their wristband, then they look to the catcher, and it's not as efficient time-wise as we see from the UT pitching staff. And it's not a criticism, it's just an observation, but there you see Betts checking the wristband, and now getting ready with the 2-1, and Perkins fouls it off. We have seen some pitchers that come through here that do not look into their dugout, and it's just the traditional communication with the catcher, possibly a wristband, but Betts is one of the ones that we've seen that you see her there. She's looking into the dugout and now looks at the wristband. And ready with the 2-2 to Perkins. And the strikeout called, and Avery Perkins looking a little bewildered on that one. And regardless, she is out number 2, and Perkins over talking both with Lexi Chevalier, who's coming up to bat, as well as Kate DeSimone, who will step into the on-deck circle, obviously passing along some observations from what she saw of Kayla Betts from the batter's box. So Chevalier, the number 7 hitter, the UT catcher, and Lexi hitting .294 this season. 6 home runs, 33 RBI. Showing bunt, and there goes the runner. Galehouse is safe. And dare I say she can do it all. She is the ace of the pitching staff. I mentioned that Galehouse is hitting .346, and she just stole her team-leading 11th base of the season. Galehouse and Weininger are tied for the team lead in RBI, followed by this batter, Lexi Chevalier. So with 2 outs and a runner now in scoring position, let's see if the Spartans catcher can come through. The 0-1 to her, and Lexi swings and misses. 0-2. And you might possibly be able to hear all the cheering coming from the St. Leo fans, an indication of how many of them are actually here. .02 coming to Chevalier. Swings and misses, and that will retire the side here in the bottom of the second. No runs, no hits, no St. Leo errors, and 1 runner left on base. We are through 2 complete, and the score remains tied at 0. We'll be back with the top of the third right here on TampaSpartans.tv.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
To the top of the third we go, and the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for St. Leo, led off by designated player Kendall Crean. And the first pitch to her is strike 1. Mariah Galehouse threw just 21 pitches in the first 2 innings combined. And now her second offering of inning number 3 is outside for a ball. Now the 1-1. Wow. Change up there. And Crean down 1-2. And now you see the difference in the pitchers in terms of Galehouse being efficient with her time, as that one's fouled down the first base side. And again, this is merely a comparison and observation. It's not a criticism, but you see the short amount of time with which Galehouse delivers her next pitch once the ball is returned to her versus what we've been seeing from Kayla Betts and St. Leo and the procedure that they use. And that one's bounced in for ball 2. Bounce to third, and Russo over to DeSimone for out number 1. Crean only hitting .175 this season. He's played in 30 of her team's 46 games, and she is out number 1. here in this top of the third. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, center fielder Hope Epps. Takes that one at the knees for ball 1. Epps hitting .314 this season. Two and 0 now. The Lions are not a home run hitting team. In fact, not only have they only hit 3, but those have all come off the bat of the same player, Brianna Neal. And strike 1 now to Epps. Bounced to short, Balmer over to DeSimone, and that is out number 2. Steph Balmer is one of those seniors that UT will be losing, and I mentioned earlier. And we're back to the top of the Lions order with Alexandra Hare, who led off the game with a single on just the second pitch of the game. That is the only hit in the game, period, by either team. And shoots that one to left field. And how about Alexandra Hare? Singles in both of her at-bats thus far, and keeps the inning alive for St. Leo. And that'll bring up the first base player, Alyssa Perez. Perez struck out back in the first and is fooled by that one for strike 1. Fired in there by Galehouse, although it's ball 1, so the count goes even now. And off of Galehouse's glove, tossed to second, and they do get Hare there for out number 3. So no runs on 1 hit. There were no Spartan errors, and we are through 2.5. Our score remains 0-0. Back with more on TampaSpartans.tv. Strike 1 to the leadoff hitter, Kate DeSimone. Spartans' number 8 hitter. First base player. Swing and a miss, 0-2. And with Mariah Galehouse having drawn that walk in the previous inning, That means that we're at the number 8 hitter. As the Spartans still looking, as you see, the latest strikeout, number 5 by Kayla Betts. Spartans still looking for their first hit. And so Mackenzie Allen, the number 9 hitter, and the first pitch gets away from the catcher, Madison Coe. Mackenzie Allen hitting .313 this season. Curious call from up here, and again, slightly off center, so I'm not directly behind home plate, but from up here, that looked like a ball, but that's why I'm the broadcaster, and Tyrone Miller is the home plate umpire. 1-1 with 1 out to number 11. And curiously, dropped again by Madison Coe. Count is 2-1. Betts checking the dugout, checking the wristband. Is good with the catcher. And here comes the 2-1. Swung on and missed. Mackenzie Allen went after that one that was, down around her knees. And Mackenzie Allen, just 5'2", a switch hitter, by the way. And now the 2-2 to Allen, and fouls it off to stay alive here in the bottom of the third. Two coming now from Betts. Allen to third, and they do get her just in time. And a nice play there defensively by Alexandra Hare at third base. Brings the Spartans back around to the top of the order, and it's the left fielder Lauren Fantone. She popped out to third base to lead off the game. Two out here in the bottom of the third. Fantone takes strike one. Yo, one from Betts, and fools Fantone. And Kayla Betts, very efficient with her pitches. She has only thrown 37 so far. And will she get her 6th strikeout of the game already? Spartans fans hope not. The 0-2 on the way. And up high, the home plate umpire checks with his colleague down at first, who says no, Fantone did not go around. And so she stays alive here in the bottom of the third. And Betts, I wonder if she's changing the pitch. Here comes the 1-2. And they get her. Fantone goes down as strikeout victim number 6. No runs, no hits, no Lions errors, and no Spartans runners left on base. through 3 complete. We remain scoreless. Coming back with the top of the 4th right here on TampaSpartans.tv.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
Back live here at the Namoli Family Stadium, and if you came for pitching, you sure are seeing that. Both teams. And this is Bianca Polestina. And swung on and missed. And Polestina, she struck out looking back in the first. And bounces that one. It stays fair. It just died before it got to the line. And Mariah Galehouse was waiting it out, hoping, thinking, assuming that it was going to roll foul. And the ball just stopped. And as a result, Polestina is aboard. And that will be scored a hit. The 3rd hit of the game for St. Leo, the university, not the actual Saint. And 2 of those hits I had mentioned came off the bat of Alexandra Hare. And so now the runner looks like she started to go, and Chevalier, I think, looked over maybe a moment too late, but at the same time, the first base player, DeSimone, had broken in enough that it would have been Cameron Weininger coming over from second to cover first. And so it also boiled down to, is there really a teammate there for me to even try the pickoff attempt with? In any case, the 1-0, and there's the jump again from Polestina at first base. The batter, by the way, is Brianna Neal. Hit into a fielder's choice in the first. She's the number 4 hitter. Now, if you watch the first base player here for UT, Kate DeSimone, you'll see how she's been breaking in. There's a bunt laid down. And so, again, revisiting the idea of why isn't Lexi Chevalier trying to pick off at first? DeSimone isn't there to cover, and so you're asking Cameron Weininger to make it over there. And, of course, by that point, the runner's going to see it, and the runner will end up being closer to the bag than Weininger. And that's a look inside Lexi Chevalier's mind as it's fouled off. And so Brianna Neal, count now 2-2. Top of the 4th, no score, none out. And there's the attempt down to first as the count goes full. Polestina has attempted 5 stolen bases this season, has been successful on 3 of them. And there's chopper to third, to second, and they don't go for the double play. But they get the lead runner, Polestina, for out number 1. And so Brianna Neal hits into her second fielder's choice of the game. And that'll bring up Cheyenne Waller, who is from up in Citrus County, in Inverness specifically. attended the same high school that my daughter graduated from. And there's the stolen base attempt, and they get her. Brianna Neal caught stealing. And so 2 outs in the top of the fourth for St. Leo. So the Spartans shut down any threat that the Lions might have been staging here in the top of the fourth, and 2 outs. And now the 0-1 swung on and missed by Cheyenne Waller. And Mariah Galhouse looking to close things out. And it's popped up, caught by Balmer, and that'll be out number 3. No runs on 1 hit. There were no Spartans errors, and no runners left on base for St. Leo. Spartans coming to bat in the bottom of the fourth when we return on TampaSpartans.tv.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
On my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
A Spartan center fielder, Lily Keister, batting here to start the bottom of the fourth as it's the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for UT. I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast that the Spartans come into this game riding a 14-game winning streak. And amazingly, 5 of their last 6 victories have been by shutout. And they're locked in a 0-0 game here against St. Leo. As you see, strike 1 called against Keister. This is the last homestand of the regular season. The Spartans do still have 3 more regular season games left to play. That'll be next weekend. They'll go down to Boca Raton and play at Lynn to close out the 2023 regular season. The 0-1 to Keister popped up, and a routine catch made there by the shortstop, Cheyenne Waller. And that'll bring up Alexa Russo. Struck out in the first inning. One of the 6 strikeouts so far for Kayla Betts in this game. Russo fouls it off on the first base side. And this game is borderline standing room only as I look out into the seating area. And a change up there to Alexa Russo. Count even at 1-1. And now the 1-1 to Alexa Russo. And strike 2, but noteworthy that that's at least, unofficially, that's at least the 3rd time that catcher Madison Coe has dropped the ball. And maybe it's nothing, but I, for one, am noticing. And now the 1-2 to Russo. Swing and a miss. And down she goes. Second time striking out in this game. And if you wonder why is he making a big deal out of the catcher dropping the ball 3 times, well, if there's a runner on base and the runner goes and you're dropping the ball, that's going to be the difference time-wise in not having the reaction time to throw down to whatever base is being stolen. So it could become a factor. Maybe it's nothing. But in sports, you just never know. 2 outs. And Cameron Weininger, the cleanup hitter for UT, she struck out in the second inning. First pitch to her is a ball. Weininger is another one of the seniors that UT will lose. She's from over in Plant City. And here comes the 1-0 to her. Weininger gets under it. And ranging in and making the catch as the pitcher Kayla Betts. And so the Spartans, no runs on no hits. There were no Lions errors and no Spartans runners left on base. We are through 4 complete and still no score. We'll be back with the top of the 5th right here on TampaSpartans.tv.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive.
Back live at the Namoli Family Stadium. And it's the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for St. Leo here in the top of the 5th. Starting off with left fielder Bailey Williams. As you see the bunt attempt go foul. She ground out to second, back in the second. And you saw a quick word there, a little bit of a snicker between UT pitcher Mariah Galhouse and her catcher Lexi Chevalier. And Bailey Williams gets the bat on the ball, nicely fielded by Russo over to first to DeSimone for out number 1. A nice play there by Russo in the field. This is the catcher, Madison Coe. Ground out back in the second inning. The number 7 hitter in head coach Aaron Kinberger's batting order tonight. And the 1-0 to her. And looks at it. Strike 1 called by home plate umpire Tyrone Miller. The 1-1, chop to short, Balmer over to DeSimone in plenty of time for out number 2. And a reminder that we will have a doubleheader between these two teams tomorrow afternoon for you right here on TampaSpartans.tv. First game scheduled for 1 p.m. To the number 8 hitter we go, and Kendall Crean, the designated player. Strike 1 to her. She ground out to third in the third. We're in the top of the fifth, a game that only started 52, maybe 53 minutes ago. Seemed to start maybe a minute earlier than the scheduled time. And that's the product. As you see it go foul down the third baseline, that's the product of a game with no score and only 3 hits. All by one team, by the way. Galehouse ready with the 1-2. And just outside, count goes even. And looked like they checked down at first base. And Edwin Riggins says no, she did not go. Kendall Crean staying alive. And Gelhaus induces a ground ball and flipped over to DeSimone for out number 3. No runs on no hits. There were no Spartan errors and no Lions runners left on base. A quick moving game. Back with the bottom of the 5th coming up on TampaSpartans.tv.
In 1889, St. Leo is the 4th largest Catholic university in the United States and currently serves more than 14,000 students. They study at its university campus in Greater Tampa Bay through its online programs and at more than 40 teaching locations in 7 states, boasting small class sizes, academic excellence, and state-of-the-art technology. St. Leo is a thriving community you definitely want to be a part of.
What do you get when you take your favorite food and stuff it inside a pocket of homemade dough? Cooked perfectly until golden brown. It's a mouth-watering empanada from Mr. Empanada. No one makes a better empanada. Take Ted Webb's word for it.
Almost as good as my mom used to make.
Check out our website for a location near you, MrEmpanada.com.
The Spartans pitcher Mariah Galehouse coming to bat, and this is the point in the broadcast when I remind you of the amazing numbers put up so far this season by St. Leo pitcher Kayla Betts entering tonight's game. 0.51 earned run average, 151 2/3 innings pitched, a 21-2 1-loss record. And Galehouse drives that one to left field. A well-struck ball. Caught, however, for out number 1. So Galehouse, who had walked in the second, is out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. And it brings up Avery Perkins, the designated player. She struck out looking in the second inning. Perkins looked like she was going for the slap. Strike 1. Perkins gets underneath that one. It will be playable and it will be caught by Alexandra Hare for out number 2. If you came for offense, if you came for a high-scoring game, sorry to disappoint, but an exciting pitcher's duel nonetheless, as it'll be the catcher Lexi Chevalier looking to finally dent the hit column for the Spartans, playing here on their home field. And Chevalier takes for ball 1. Lexi from over in my neck of the woods in Valrico attended Bloomingdale High School. And her junior year, of course, swing and a miss. Of course, the COVID redshirt year, a factor in all that. We saw Lexi play third base recently, which took some getting used to since she's almost always behind home plate. Her position that she's playing here in this game. The 1-1 now, and that one's outside for ball 2. Chevalier backing out and resets herself in the batter's box now. And awaiting the 2-1 pitch from Kayla Betts, who has struck out 7. Chevalier fouls that one back. Count goes even. 2-2 with 2 outs. Kate DeSimone, the number 8 hitter in the on-deck circle, hoping to get a chance here in this bottom of the 5th. Here's the 2-2, and Chevalier fouls that one back to the screen. Looks down quickly towards third base at her coach, Leslie Cantor. Cantor confident in her veteran catcher. And Betts set now with the 2-2. Wines delivers, and here it comes. And Chevalier, wow, looking to see if that one leaves the stadium. That one's fouled way out. And I see someone from the Spartans bullpen running out to where the cars are parked. So that one did leave the facility. And the 2-2 once again to Chevalier. Swung on and popped up. 3 of them come in for it. And making the catch is Brianna Neal for out number 3. So once again, no runs and no hits. No Lions errors and no Spartans left on base. We are through 5 complete. Still no score. And we'll be back with the top of the 6th right here on TampaSpartans.tv.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
It's not about any one thing. It's about how everything comes together, how it all connects. People, ideas, resources, community, everything.
Top of the 6th inning, and it is number 6, Hope Epps, the St. Leo center fielder. A ground out to short in her only plate appearance so far in this game, that coming in the 3rd inning. As you see, the first pitch to Epps for ball 1. Sends that one to left field, and Fantone there to make the catch. And so Epps, the number 9 hitter, is retired. And Alexandra Hare, who has 2 of St. Leo's 3 hits, she singled in both the first and the third. Batting here in the top of the 6th with 1 out, and first pitch. They check down at first, and the indication is no. She did not go around. Alexandra Hare, a peculiar batting stance, and there's strike 1 to her. Her lead foot, she starts with it way back and high, and see it there, and at the last moment now brings it forward and drives that one to right field. And wow, Alexandra Hare cannot miss tonight. 3 for 3. And I know I read it off when the game started, but worth repeating that Alexandra Hare was hitting .418 coming into tonight's game. An on-base percentage of .471. And she will run, by the way, 12 of 15 on stolen base attempts this season. So a threat with the bat, and Spartans going to need to keep an eye on her on the base paths. And this is Alyssa Perez, the Lions' first base player. And Chevalier right away looked down at first base. Do I need a pickoff attempt to try to either get Hare out or at least keep her honest? The 1-1 now to Perez, and fouls that one down the right field line. Bounces off a utility pole and back into the field of play.
So if she comes around to score and they win, should we put the headline as if they beat us by a hair? I'll be all over that one.
Top of the 6th, and the Lions trying to mount an attack here with just 1 out and a runner on first base. Galehouse, fastball there. And driven in the gap between short and third, and St. Leo with 2 runners aboard now and only 1 out. Alyssa Perez driving that one to shallow left field. The 5th hit of the game for St. Leo. Spartans have no hits. Galehouse needs to get her team out of a jam, and the first pitch there to Polestina is strike 1. Polestina singled in her previous at-bat. That was inning number 4 after having struck out looking in the first. Polestina, the number 3 hitter, so the Spartans are going right into the heart of the St. Leo batting order. And there's strike 2. Galehouse has only struck out 2 batters in this game. And that one's outside for ball 1. And when I say has only struck out 2, it's in comparison to Kayla Betts having struck out 7 from the circle for St. Leo. Here's the 1-2, and chopped Weininger, and they get the runner at second, Perez. But in the meantime, Alexandra Hare advances to third. So runners on the corners now, although 2 outs for St. Leo, threatening here in the top of the 6th. And Brianna Neal, the batter, as the Lions are going to have a conference here. Brianna Neal has hit into a fielder's choice in both of her plate appearances thus far in this game. First inning and 4th inning. And yes, isn't Brianna Neal the player that you said has the only home runs this season for the Lions? Indeed, I did. She has 3 of them. Of course, like I said, this is not a home run friendly park, and you don't need a home run at this point when you've got the Spartans with no hits so far. Who knows? It may just take one run. And so Brianna Neal, especially with Alexander Hare just 60 feet away over at third base, a base hit will do it. Doesn't have to go over the fence. And Galehouse sends that one outside for ball one. And when I talked about a pitcher's duel, these are the aces that you look to in situations like this. If you're Leslie Cantor, I might argue in my own personal opinion that there's nobody else you'd want to have in the circle right now for the Spartans than Galehouse. And you see her get strike one there. And now the 1-1 from Galehouse. And chopped, and that one's going to go for a base hit. And the Lions get the first run of the game. And that's what I said Neal needed to do. Didn't have to be over the fence, just enough to drive home Hare. And so the first run of the game goes up on the board. On the sixth hit of the game, all of them by St. Leo. And so with 2 outs in the top of the sixth, St. Leo with a 1-0 lead. And shortstop Cheyenne Waller into the batter's box for the visitors. And runners on first and second, swing and a miss by Waller. Big swing and a miss there by Waller. Next pitch swung on and missed, and that is strike 3. And down go the Lions in the top of the sixth, but not before they get the game's first run. 1 run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 Lions runners left on base. So a 1-0 lead for the visitors. UT coming to bat in the bottom of the sixth when we return on TampaSpartans.tv. Kate DeSimone to lead things off for UT here in the bottom of the sixth as they have fallen behind 1-0. That means that we have the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for UT here this inning. DeSimone shows bunt, and the umpire is going to rule that DeSimone is out. The ball did bounce, and I believe that that's the rationale for calling DeSimone out, meaning that it may have hit her as she ran, and I believe it went off a Lions player first. In any event, it's Mackenzie Allen, the number 9 hitter for UT. Allen 0 for 1 in this game. She ground out to third, back in the third. Strike one there. Swing and a miss, and that was pitch number 60 in this game for Kayla Betts. And we are in the bottom of the 6th. A sign of how dominant this performance has been by her, that she's only at 60 pitches in the bottom of the 6th with 1 out, and now make that 2 outs as Mackenzie Allen goes down as the 8th strikeout of the game for Kayla Betts. To the top of the order go the Spartans and left fielder Lauren Fantone. She flew out in foul territory to the third base side to lead off the game and then struck out looking in the third. Kayla Betts is absolutely in a zone in the circle for the Lions as Fantone fouls that one back to the screen. Two outs here in the bottom of the 6th. The 0-1 to Lauren Fantone, and that's outside for a ball. That one started way outside and never came back. Don't know that that was necessarily the intent anyways by Betts, but to Fantone's delight. So the 1-1 now. And Fantone checks her swing. 2-1. This game's shaping up to be everything that it was expected to be, with a 35-2 Spartans team against a 39-7 St. Leo team. Fantone lashes one to center field and not caught. Fantone's going to go for 2. Now she's going for 3. And Lauren Fantone, a stand-up triple in the bottom of the 6th. And the Spartans get their first base runner of the game in grand fashion. A well-hit ball to right center field by Lauren Fantone, past the outstretched glove of Hope Epps. And hope for the Tampa Spartans, albeit with 2 down here in the bottom 6. See the conference taking place out in the pitching circle. And head coach Aaron Kinberger talking not only with the battery, but you see the infielders joining them as well. And what a hit off the bat of Lauren Fantone, as Lily Keister will be the batter now. Keister flew out to foul territory on the third base side back in the 1st, and then she popped out to short in the 4th inning. And an opportunity now for Keister to tie the game. She's the number 2 hitter in the Spartans order. And playing right here in her hometown of Tampa, the sophomore with an opportunity to bring home Lauren Fantone following that triple. And a no-hitter broken up for Kayla Betts. Betts vocal there with her catcher, Madison Coe. And sends in ball 1. So the plot thickens here. fans moving a little bit closer to the edge of their seats here in the Namoli Family Stadium. The tension building as Lily Keister, a chance to tie the game. Waiting for the 1-0 from Kayla Betts. She rocks back. Wines delivers. And Keister, strike one there. She watched home plate umpire Tyrone Miller, unsure of the way that one was going to go. Now ready, the 1-1, way outside for ball 2, and it looked like Coe tried to frame that one, maybe to influence the umpire, and he's not going to bite on that. That's the long look into the dugout. And checking the wristband, looks to the dugout one last time, and now ready to go with the 2-1 to Keister, and fouled back to the screen. Lily battling here. As the next pitch from Betts will be number 70 in the game from her. Mariah Galehouse has thrown 79 from the circle for UT. The 2-2 to Keister, swung on and fouled down the left field line. Lily Keister keeping the inning alive for UT. They are riding a 14-game winning streak. St. Leo hopes to snap that and extend their own to 6 in a row. Madison Coe, the catcher, looking into the dugout as well. And the 2-2 once again. And Keister fouls that one off. Alexa Russo waiting in the on-deck circle for the Spartans, hoping to get an opportunity to bat in this bottom of the 6th. Russo kind of one of those players that you know she's going to break through eventually. 2-2 once again. Keister saw her pull back at the last minute and came close to almost hitting her on the hands, but the foul ball keeps her and the Spartans bottom of the 6th alive nonetheless. And the fans getting anxious. Betts to Keister once again, and gets the strikeout. And so the Spartans are retired in the bottom of the 6th. No runs on one hit, no Lions errors, and one runner left on base. We are through 6 complete, and the visitors lead at 1-0. Back with the top of the 7th after this on TampaSpartans.tv.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We're Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to...
I'm Bruce Wozniak. You're watching Tampa Spartans softball from the Namoli Family Stadium as we go to the top of inning number 7. And left fielder Bailey Williams ground out to second in the second and to third in the 5th inning. And the first pitch to her here in inning number 7 is strike 1. Count goes to 0-2 now. Coming to Williams, chopper to third, and Russo over to DeSimone for out number 1. And it'll bring up the catcher, Madison Coe, 0 for 2 in this game. Her team has strung together 6 hits. All of those, by the way, from the first 4 hitters in the order, as she follows that pitch off for strike 1. So 5 through 9 in the Lions order have combined to go 0 for 12 in this game. And yes, I know, commentators curse. 1-1 count here against Coe in the top of the 7th with 1 out. And Galehouse delivers. Coe bounces that one foul. And absolutely no wind here whatsoever. The American flag hanging totally limp on the flagpole out in right center field, just to the left of the scoreboard. Count 2-2 now. And did she go around? They check, and the first base umpire says no. Madison Coe stays alive to see at least one more pitch here in the top of the 7th. Fouls it off the screen above the Spartans dugout. And make no mistake, despite the fact that Mariah Galehouse has thrown north of 85 pitches, it will not be a surprise whatsoever to see her pitch one of the 2 games tomorrow. There's a bouncer, and Weininger can't get to it. And so Madison Coe is aboard here in the top of the 7th. So the Lions, who have a 1-0 lead, looks like we're going to see a change of some kind, as head coach Aaron Kinberger is talking to the home plate umpire Tyrone Miller, and it's going to be a pinch runner as Grace Dunsworth is going to come in to run for Madison Coe at first base. Dunsworth is 7 for 7 on stolen bases this season, so let's see if that's what Kinberger is up to in making that switch in her lineup. And wow, a big jump there by Dunsworth over at first. The batter is Kendall Crayon, the designated player. She is 0 for 2, courtesy of a couple of groundouts in the third and the fifth inning. And again, the big jump by Grace Dunsworth over at first. And keep an eye on her, just to the right edge of your screen. And chop to third. Russo bobbles it. And that will be scored an error as the Lions, with a big opening here now in the top of the seventh, only one out and runners at first and second. And we'll see the number 9 hitter now, Hope Epps. And again, Kinberger reporting a change to the home plate umpire. And I believe we're going to get another pinch runner, and this time, indeed, Kendall Crayon will go have a seat in the dugout as Sierra Ford will come in as the pinch runner at first base. So Kinberger clearly thinking that she needs and wants as much speed on the base paths as she can get to try to increase this lead. And showing bunt there, Hope Epps. So 0-1. Keep in mind there's only one out. Epps looking down at Kinberger at third, and the myriad of signals being given. The 0-1 shows bunt, and the home plate umpire quickly says everyone back. 0-2 bounced off a home plate, and Chevalier there on the spot. So Hope Epps behind in the count now, 0-2. Mariah Galehouse up to 94 pitches. And there you see ball one, 95 pitches. And I'll be Captain Obvious and say that the ideal situation for Galehouse would be to get the strikeout here. Well, short of that would be a double play. And bounced, and they throw over to first, and they do get Epps at first base. So 2 down, however, 2 runners in scoring position now for the visitors. And who comes to the plate but Alexandra Hare, who is 3 for 3 in this game. Ironically, wears jersey number 3. And so a conference out in the pitching circle as head coach Leslie Cantor wants to talk to Mariah Galehouse and the rest of the Spartans infielders, as well as catcher Lexi Chevalier. Now the thinking being that maybe you would intentionally walk Alexandra Hare because she's 3 for 3, and that would bring up Alyssa Perez, who's 1 for 3. And indeed, they are going to intentionally walk Alexandra Hare, and the Lions fans unhappy about that, but you can't fault Spartans coach Leslie Cantor for calling for the intentional pass. This is interesting to me because in international softball, we had a rule where you would just tell the umpire, we're going to walk the batter and not have to throw the 4 pitches. That was a move that was done simply for the interest of the length of game. Don't need to really spend the extra time throwing those pitches. And so they send 4 straight there, intentionally walking Alexandra Hare. And so bases loaded now with 2 outs. And the batter, Alyssa Perez, the first base player, struck out in the first, hit into a fielder's choice in the third, and then singled in the 6th. And let's see how she does here in the top of the 7th as the first pitch is high and outside for ball 1. Melissa Perez, a fairly tall target, 5'7", and the 1-0 on the way to her, and manages to get the strike. Does Mariah Galhouse. The bases are loaded with Lyons, Hare, Ford, and Dunsworth at first, second, and third, respectively. And a bouncer, and Balmer over to first in time for out number 3. So no runs on one hit. There was one Spartan error and 3 runners left on base for St. Leo in the top of the 7th. The Spartans were going to go to the bottom of the 7th. Will this be their final at-bat, or can they tie or possibly even win the game in walk-off fashion? We'll find out when we return on TampaSpartans.tv.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
I don't know that you can come up with any batters different than the 3 that are scheduled to hit for the Spartans here in the bottom of the 7th. And in a situation like this, 3, 4, and 5 hitters, Alexa Russo, Cameron Weininger, and Mariah Galhouse, a combined total of 0 for 5. And having seen as many Spartans games as I have, you just know that any one of those 3 can come through at a moment's notice. And this is all bias removed. You just got to believe that it's going to be time for one of the 3 of them, and I don't mind putting myself in a position to look wrong, to be made to look bad if I'm incorrect on that assertion. But despite how dominant Kayla Betts has been, this is the number one ranked team in the country for a reason. Russo, a 1-1 count here. She has struck out in both of her plate appearances so far in this game, first and fourth innings. And the next pitch on the way to her here in the bottom of the 7th, and gets under it, and that'll go out of play. 1-2. Russo already ready, and catcher Madison Coe still standing up behind her. And now the battery is ready. 1-2 on the way. And they get Russo. Fooled her with that one. And that is strikeout number 10 by St. Leo pitcher Kayla Betts. So that'll bring up the second base player, Cameron Weininger. First pitch to Weininger, way up high for ball 1. Only one hit in the game by the Spartans. That was a big triple by Lauren Fantone. 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Are the Lions 2 outs away from victory, or do the Spartans have a comeback in? And Weininger sends it to right field, and that stays playable and chased to the right field wall. She's going to go for 3, and Weininger is safe with a triple of her own. And now the plot thickens. As the Spartans have only 2 hits in the game, they're both triples and 60 feet from home plate is Cameron Weininger representing the tying run. And lo and behold, it's pitcher Mariah Galehouse. And the palms getting sweaty for St. Leo fans if they know the accomplishments of Mariah Galehouse. And the timeout is going to be called here by the Lions. And so Weininger from third, the batter Galehouse, and then the on-deck batter Avery Perkins, all talking with Spartans head coach Leslie Cantor and assistant coach Denise Rubio over near the third base bag. As you see the conference taking place out in the pitching circle for St. Leo. And you see assistant coach Denise Rubio escorting Mariah Galehouse back towards home plate. Galehouse walked in the second, flew out to left field in the fifth. And if you'll allow me, just one more time, she is a very accomplished hitter. Will probably be in the conversation for pitcher of the year in the conference, but equally dangerous when she's in the batter's box. And the home plate umpire says, ladies, let's break it up. Let's play some ball. And so Madison Coe heads back to her position behind home plate. 76 pitches thrown in this game by Kayla Betts. 1 out. And UT with the tying run over on third base in the person of Cameron Weininger. The number 5 hitter, Galehouse. Here's the first pitch to her. And Galehouse, that'll be strike one. She puts her left hand up sort of in frustration, looks down at her coach. Leslie Cantor says, forget about it. Move on to the next pitch. Galehouse at the ready, and Coe still standing up behind her. Now into the crouch position. And here comes the 0-1. And that's going to be ball one. It was very close to Galehouse. Not close enough for a hit by pitch, but that much that it was clearly ball one. And now the 1-1 to Mariah Galehouse. Puts the bat on it, and that one's going to go into foul territory and not able to be played by any of the 3 Lions who are in pursuit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Betts gets her instructions from her dugout. Toe on the rubber. Checks the wristband. And now the 1-2 on the way to Mariah Galehouse. And outside for ball 2. And leaning Madison Coe, just trying to will that one into the strike zone. Nothing doing. Can cut the tension with a knife here inside Namoli Family Stadium. And the 2-2 coming now from Betts. Swung on, and Galehouse got underneath that one, so that'll be caught for out number 2 by Brianna Neal. And the Spartans down to their last out. And a pressure situation, knowing that the tying run is standing on third base in the person of Cameron Weininger. Avery Perkins, the number 6 hitter, struck out looking in the second and then flew out to foul territory on the third base side in the 5th inning. First offering from Betts to Perkins. Puts the bat on the ball and caught at short. And the runner is safe, and the Spartans tie it up. The Spartans tie it up. Cheyenne Waller handling it at shortstop and cannot get it to first base in time. And Avery Perkins comes through, driving in the tying run. And the Spartans, some last-minute heroics. As head coach Leslie Cantor is talking to the home plate umpire, I believe we're going to get a pinch runner, perhaps. And let's see if that's the change. And indeed, it's going to be Devin Hammonds that's going to come in to run for Avery Perkins, who will get a line of high fives from her teammates in the dugout. And what's happening now, because Devin Hammonds is going back to the dugout, and it's going to be Steph Ballmer that will pinch run, which is rather peculiar. So Ballmer and not Hammonds is the pinch runner. Spartans have tied it with a 2-out bottom of the 7th run. And a brand new ball game now. As the Spartans, you could argue, are in control, as they have a chance to win it now here in the bottom of the 7th. And strike one to Lexi Chevalier, the number 7 hitter. She struck out in the 2nd and then popped out to 2nd in the 5th inning. So Ballmer, the pinch runner at first. And the 0-1 coming now to Lexi Chevalier. Puts her bat on the ball and just foul down the third base line past the outstretched glove of third base player Alexandra Hare. And Hare is going to give the washing machine a good workout tonight. Been on the field quite a bit this evening. You can see both sides of those pants. As much brown as there is white. 0-2 now coming to Lexi Chevalier, 2 outs. And the winning run at first. And sends that one way out of play and leaves the stadium, as I see that one bouncing over towards a handful of parked cars. Chevalier staying alive here in the bottom of the 7th with a chance to extend the Spartans' winning streak to 15 games, as they have rallied here after giving up a run in the top of the 6th. 0-2 to Chevalier again. And ball 1. And I'm not saying that it has. But you do have to wonder if the events that have unfolded here in the bottom of the 7th have shaken the confidence enough to St. Leo pitcher Kayla Betts that could be the difference maker. It's a game of inches, and if she's just a fraction off her game now, the Spartans could exploit it. 1-2 now to Chevalier, and fielded at third, over to first in time, and we will have extra innings as the Spartans have scored 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and it is 1-1 at the end of regulation, and we'll be back with the top of the 8th coming up on TampaSpartans.tv.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us.
we've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us.
And for college sports.
Sticks.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
It's not about any one thing. It's about how everything comes together, how it all connects. People, ideas, resources, community, everything. Quality of life services. That's what we do. Sodexo.
Extra innings here at the Namoli Family Stadium as the St. Leo Lions come to bat in the top of the 8th with the score tied at 1. And leading things off is Bianca Polestina, the right fielder. She has one of her team's 7 hits, a single back in the 4th inning. And the 1-0 to her is going to be a base hit. Alexa Russo unable to field that one. And the leadoff hitter gets on base for St. Leo. And that's going to bring up the number 4 hitter, Brianna Neal. And Alexa Russo, no question, would like to have that one back, although it has been scored a hit. But an opportunity there that could have been a routine ground out. 5-3. And Neal looked like she wanted to show bunt. She had an RBI single in the 6th for her team's only run. She had hit into fielder's choices in the 1st and the 4th. Neal does show bunt. That time it goes foul. 1-1. So Bianca Polestina over at first. "107 pitches, make it 108, as that one is fair, and they get Neal at first base for out number 1, as Polestina advances to second on the sac bunt. And so we'll see Cheyenne Waller, the shortstop, 0 for 3 in this game, hitting out of the number 5 slot. Or is she? Because head coach Aaron Kinberger wants to talk to home plate umpire Tyrone Miller. And let's see if maybe they'll put someone else in to hit for Waller, or what the conversation is about. And clearly they're not going to put in a pinch runner. You would have thought they would have done that for Polestina prior to this. Now it is interesting to note that Bianca Polestina was just pointing at the palm of her hand, although I can't imagine that it would be anything to the extent where she would say, I can't continue to run. So, strange conference there between the Lions coaches and the home plate umpire, because Polestina returns to second base, and the batter still is Cheyenne Waller. So one out here in the top of the 8th, and Galehouse delivers. There's a bunt, and they do get the runner. So 2 outs, although Polestina advances to third. So Mariah Galehouse now will work against Bailey Williams. And a quick word there. Steph Ballmer coming in from shortstop to mention something to Mariah Galehouse. And fouled off by Williams, who is 0 for 3 in this game. 3 groundouts. 2nd, 5th, and 7th innings. And if you're a Lions fan, you say, good, that means that she's due. As the count goes even at 1-1. If you are a Lions fan, thanks so much for watching this evening. And thank you, of course, to the Spartan fans as well. As that one's shot to left field, and Fantone catches that for out number 3. And so down go the Lions in the top of the 8th. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and one runner left on base. Spartans with a chance to win it coming up in the bottom of the 8th when we return on TampaSpartans.tv. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters for UT scheduled to bat in the bottom of the 8th. Number 8 hitter is first base player Kate DeSimone, 0 for 2 in this game. And in case you're wondering, Kayla Betts, her pitch count at 87 entering this inning, which is amazing. 87 pitches in 7 innings. Amazingly low, as it's strike 1 there to DeSimone. Kayla Betts has struck out 10 so far in this game. DeSimone shows a bunt, and it's caught on the run by Alexandra Hare, coming in from third base for out number 1. That'll bring up Mackenzie Allen. Spartans right fielder. 0 for 2 in this game, courtesy of a ground out in the 3rd and a strikeout in the 6th. And the first pitch to her is swung on and missed. Mackenzie Allen chasing that one. The 0-1 coming from Betts. Allen follows that one down the left field line. Mackenzie Allen number 9 hitter Lauren Fantone waiting in the on-deck circle. One down here in the bottom of the 8th. St. Leo scored in the top of the 6th. Spartans tied it in the bottom of the 7th. And here's the 0-2 to Allen. And she will be the 11th strikeout for Kayla Betts in this game. So Lauren Fantone, who had tripled in the 6th, coming to bat here in the bottom of the 8th. She had fouled out on the third base side in the first inning and then struck out looking in the third. Knows that she can hit bats and gets the bat slightly on the ball there, fouling it back. 0-1. Fantone, the leadoff hitter. That means that Lily Keister awaits in the on-deck circle. 3 hits for UT, 8 for St. Leo. And Fantone holds off on that one as it's up high for a ball. And this will be pitch number 95 by Kayla Betts, coming up here to Lauren Fantone. The 1-1, and that's up high for ball 2. And it goes without saying that not a single fan has left their seat. This is an absolute nail-biter. UT hoping to walk it off. The 2-1 coming to Fantone. Gets under it, and ranging over from center field and making the catch is Hope Epps. So the Spartans, no runs on no hits. There were no Lions errors and no Spartans runners left on base. We will go to the top of the 9th, still tied at 1. More softball on the way on TampaSpartans.tv.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the
The battle continues between the number 1 ranked Tampa Spartans and the number 11 St. Leo Lions as we go to the top of the 9th. And catcher Madison Coe leading things off for the visiting team. She is 1 for 3, singled in inning number 7, and is not going to single here. An amazing catch by Lauren Fantone out in left field. Put that one on the highlight reel. A fantastic play as Coe goes down on the first pitch of inning number 9. And Lauren Fantone, we've seen her do that before, and continues her defensive prowess as we see head coach Aaron Kinberger talking to the home plate umpire. And Kendall Crayon scheduled a hit and is in the batter's box. Don't know what the change is here. So 1 out in the top of the 9th. And Galhouse delivers to Crean and does catch the corner for strike 1. Down low for ball 1. Swung on and missed. 1-2. Galhouse has thrown 116 pitches, has only struck out 3 batters, and is ahead in the count here against Kendall Crean. 1-2, and that's outside for a ball. Two. And swing and a miss. Down goes Kendall Crean as Galhouse's 4th strikeout of the game. And that's 2 down now for St. Leo in the top of the 9th. That brings up the number 9 hitter, center fielder Hope Epps. She's 0 for 3 in the game. And Epps trying to keep Hope alive, and not going to be the case. Caught by Lily Keister for out number 3. No runs, no hits, no Spartan errors, and no Lions runners left on base. And just like that, we will go to the bottom of the 9th. Can the Spartans win it in a walk-off in that frame? We'll find out when we return on TampaSpartans.tv.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
Bottom of the 9th for the Spartans. And the number 2 hitter, Lily Keister, to lead things off here against Kayla Betts, who, barring a miracle, will hit the 100 pitch count in this inning. That's number 97. And first one is grounded to third and over to first. So Keister is out on the first pitch of the bottom of the 9th. As you saw Hare fire that one over to Alyssa Perez. That'll bring up Alexa Russo. And I stand by my charge that Russo is due. She's 0 for 3 in this game. And the first pitch to her in the bottom of the 9th. And that'll be strike 1. Betts, long look into the dugout that time. Rocks back, winds, delivers, and Russo shoots that one into right field, and it drops. And what happened? Russo in some real trouble at home plate. And I was too busy watching the ball to see if she was going to be fair or foul. And Alexa Russo down and being attended to by the Spartans training staff. So we will take a break and come right back on TampaSpartans.tv.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
There So Alexa Russo being helped off the field, and clearly an issue with her right leg. I'm not even going to pretend to speculate what part of her leg it is, but still being helped off and towards the Spartans dugout. And you see all the Lions players down on one knee out of respect. And the crowd absolutely silent here inside Namoli Family Stadium. And a hand for Alexa Russo as she is off the field and will be immediately tended to. Now in the meantime, Cameron Weininger coming to home plate, and peculiar situation because you have to think that Russo would have run that one out and been safe based on the ball not being caught. And instead, 2 outs for the Spartans now in the bottom of the 9th. So things kind of go from bad to worse. You not only lose a key player, but there's actually an out in the process on a play that otherwise would have been a base hit and would have put the winning run on base. And the 1-0 now, and that one fielded cleanly and over to first for a routine ground out and out number 3. So no runs, and the game remains tied, and difficult inning there for UT as they lose Alexa Russo. But we'll be back with the top of the 10th coming up on TampaSpartans.tv.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Back here at Namoli Family Stadium, and with the injury to Russo and her leaving the game, the defensive changes are Alexis Chevalier comes out from behind home plate and takes over at third base, and instead Caroline Watson takes over behind home plate, catching instead of Chevalier. And so Lexi over at third now with Russo being unavailable on account of the injury. So top of the 10th, and the 1-0 pitch here to Alexandra Hare, who you probably know singled in each of her first 3 at-bats before being intentionally walked in the top of inning number 7. And 3-0 here in the top of the 10th to Hare. And Galehouse gets strike 1. Mariah has thrown 123 pitches in this game, and there's one fouled back, and so the count goes full. Sent to left field, and that's going to be a base hit. Alexandra Hare absolutely on fire tonight. 4 for 4 plus the intentional walk. So she has reached base in all 5 of her plate appearances this evening. And that'll bring up the Lions' first base player, Alyssa Perez. So nobody out in the top of the 10th, and a runner aboard for the visiting team. Keep in mind, these two teams have a doubleheader scheduled for tomorrow at 1 p.m. A bunt by Perez, fielded by Galehouse to first, and they do get Perez there. So a sacrifice bunt as Hare moves over to second base. And heads up there by Mariah Galehouse. Nice play defensively. And that will bring up the right fielder, Bianca Polestina. She is 2 for 4 in this game. Singles coming in the 4th and 8th innings. And right to third, dropped by Chevalier, over to first, and safe, says the umpire, who is over at second, Edwin Riggin. And the Lions mounting a threat here in the top of the 10th. Polestina at first, Hare at second. The batter is Neal. And Brianna Neal is 1 for 3 in this game. She had a sacrifice in the 8th. Had singled in the 6th after a pair of fielders' choices, 1st and 4th innings. Caroline Watson, the Spartans catcher, looking into her dugout. And that's low and away for ball 2. Galehouse winds, delivers, and that's going to be ball 3. And dangerous territory here. Brianna Neal, the number 4 hitter. Cheyenne Waller on deck. And swung on and a base hit. And that's going to bring a run home as the play is made at the plate, but not in time. They go to second base and don't get the runner there, but the Lions take a 2-1 lead as Brianna Neal drives in Alexandra Hare. And so runners still on first and second, and only one out here in the top of the 10th. Cheyenne Waller, the shortstop, who is 0 for 3 plus a sacrifice in the 8th inning. And strike one to Waller. Brianna Neal coming through with the go-ahead RBI here in our 3rd extra inning. And there's one sent foul out of play down the left field line. So the Spartans will need to put on their hitting shoes in the bottom of the 10th. As there's one in the dirt, they throw it to second, and just off the mark, as back safely in time is Bianca Polestina. The count is 1-2 against Cheyenne Waller. And let's see if Mariah Galhouse can get herself and her teammates out of this little bit of a jam. That one's fouled out of play. Drops over in the vicinity of the UT bullpen. Galehouse delivers, and second, first, they get the double play. Great defense by the Spartans to avoid a potential disaster and keep it at a 1-run game. 1 run on 2 hits. There was 1 Spartan error, and the Lions do go ahead, a 2-1 lead. Let's see if the Spartans can tie it back up, if not come from behind to win it in the bottom of the 10th when we return on TampaSpartans.tv.
I pledge.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
on my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
The Spartans pitcher, Mariah Galehouse, leading things off in the bottom of the 10th. Her team has just fallen behind 2-1, as we're going to see the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the home team here, as they hope to rally, keep their 14-game winning streak alive. The number 1 ranked team in the nation, and facing St. Leo pitcher Kayla Betts, who has thrown 102 pitches through 9 innings. And her first offering of the bottom of the 10th is up high for ball 1. Galehouse walked in the second, flew out to left in the 5th inning, and then popped out to second base in inning number 7. Here's the 1-0 to Galehouse. Fouled back. 1-1. And at this point, I'm going to go on a limb and say that if you're going to see Kayla Betts and Mariah Galehouse pitch tomorrow, that it would be in Game 2. My own personal opinion. 1-1 coming from Betts to Galehouse. Fouled back. 1-2. If if I was to take another educated guess, I'd say perhaps, maybe, possibly, Mary Beth Feldman in the circle in Game 1 tomorrow for UT. Come back tomorrow at 1 on TampaSpartans.tv to see if I'm right or not. 1-2 to Galehouse. And low enough for ball 2. Betts checks the wristband. And ready with the 2-2 for Galehouse. And she gets underneath it, and that one will go out of play. And Mariah staying alive here in the bottom of the 10th. Avery Perkins in the on-deck circle for UT. Hoping that Galehouse will reach base safely here in some fashion. And they do get the strikeout. Down goes Galehouse as out number 1 here in the bottom of the 10th. And head coach Leslie Cantor talking with home plate umpire Tyrone Miller as we're going to see Avery Perkins batting now. One down in the bottom of the 10th. The Lions have 10 hits in the game. The Spartans have 3. UT has committed 2 errors, 0 in that category for St. Leo. The university, the softball team, not the actual Saint. And Perkins fouls that one back. It begs the question, the Saint himself, St. Leo, did he ever commit any errors on his march to sainthood? Talk amongst yourselves. Avery Perkins, Spartans need somebody to come through in this bottom half of the inning. 1 down, and the 0-1 coming from Kayla Betts. Up high. Count goes even 1-1. Kayla Betts up to 110 pitches in this game. Checks the wristband and ready with the 1-1 for Avery Perkins. And strike 2. Perkins perhaps looking slap on that one and steps back into the batter's box. Ready here for the next offering from Kayla Betts. A junior from up in Leesburg. Sends it in, and Perkins off the glove of Betts, and Perkins is safe. An infield hit by Avery Perkins. And the Spartans keep their hopes alive as the tying run is now on first base. And under normal circumstances, I would say that brings up the catcher, Lexi Chevalier, but she has moved to third base on account of the injury suffered by Alexa Russo. And regardless of the position, it's the veteran Chevalier who is 0 for 3 in this game with an opportunity. Sure, one swing at the bat could end the game with a home run, but just looking to advance, Avery Perkins, and Chevalier swings and misses. Now, having said all that, this is where I'm obligated to remind you, just for your consideration, that Lexi Chevalier does lead the team in home runs with 6. And I already put it out there that this is not a home run friendly ballpark, but anything can happen. And that one's way up high for ball one. So the fourth hit of the game off the bat of Avery Perkins for UT here in this bottom of the 10th inning. And a game that's now going on 2.5 hours old. As Betts rocks back. And the 1-1 right down Main Street for strike two, or I guess it would be Kennedy Boulevard for strike two. And in the middle of the at-bat, Spartans coach Leslie Cantor decides, I'm going to go ahead and put in a pinch runner for Avery Perkins. And that's going to be Abigail Siegel. And Siegel, no stolen bases this season. So Cantor has a strategy in mind, inserts the runner in the middle of the Chevalier at-bat. 1-2 the count against Lexi. And here comes Kayla Betts. Swung on and missed for strike three, and Chevalier, frustrated, goes down as out number two here in the bottom of the 10th. So it's do or die, as we're going to get another pinch hitter. And instead of Kate DeSimone, we're going to see Miranda Perez. Perez is hitting .429 this season, although I will mention that she has only played in 7 games. She only has 7 at-bats, in fact. 3 for 7. Does have an RBI. So an interesting move here as head coach Leslie Cantor empties out the toolbox, not only with putting in the pinch runner in the middle of an at-bat, but putting in Miranda Perez to hit for Kate DeSimone. Here in the bottom of the 10th with 2 outs, tying run at first. Betts winds, delivers, showing bunt, and there goes the runner. And Siegel advances to second base. So the plot thickens as the Spartans get a runner in scoring position. Miranda Perez back into the batter's box, ready for the 1-0 from Kayla Betts. And they do get strike one. And I do have to wonder at this point if maybe the strategy by Cantor is sending a new batter to the plate that Kayla Betts has no book on to this point, has not faced in the game. And it could be a strategy that way and not a commentary on Kate DeSimone. And here comes the 1-1 to Perez. And strike two. Tying run at second. Spartans potentially down to their last strike of the game. And an opportunity for Miranda Perez to be a hero of sorts, at least to keep the game alive. At least keep them playing one more at-bat. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Game over. Miranda Perez goes down as the 14th strikeout for Kayla Betts. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 Spartan runner left on base. The Spartans' winning streak ends at 14. That is only their 3rd loss of the season against 35 victories. And St. Leo, congratulations, hits the 40-win mark as they have won 6 straight games and improve to 40-7. Final line score, 2 runs on 10 hits, no errors for St. Leo. UT gets 1 run on 4 hits and 2 errors. Winning pitcher Kayla Betts. 14 strikeouts, as I mentioned, allows only 4 runs, 1 run that was earned. And the Lions come in to knock off the number 1 ranked Tampa Spartans. A reminder that we will be back on the air tomorrow afternoon starting at 1 o'clock for Game 1 of a scheduled doubleheader as the 2 teams continue their 3-game series here at the Namoli Family Stadium. Thank you for watching here on TampaSpartans.tv. I'm Bruce Wozniak, wishing you a fond Friday farewell from Tampa.